Kia ora, lovely Virgos. We're doing your reading, not so much for this, well, it does cover this full moon in Aries on the 20th, which I do, it is looking like quite a potentially explosive, action-packed or actioning is more of the word, isn't it? Actioning time. There's a lot of different planetary things going on, but we're doing just an overview of October, November and December, just for something different this time around. And it's been, I haven't been able to get any readings up over the last month, but now I'm back. So let's have a look for you, lovely Virgos. Let's just keep it simple to begin with, one card for each month over the next few months, and then we will clarify. I've already pulled a few cards from 3 different decks face down, just to have a wee look at the end, see if they relate. And remember, these are really general readings, Virgo too, so if you don't feel that it's for you, it's probably not. Okay, but if it is, that's wonderful. So we're looking at October for Virgo. Wow, October's looking good. We get the sun coming out. November, then we'll talk about it. November. Get 2 cards coming out there. The Ace of Discs, a great card of abundance, and the Princess of Swords. We get for December something quite fabulous coming out here with the Magician. So let's begin with the sun. There is nothing over the week, over the month of October. There is nothing about the beautiful, the light's a bit funny tonight. There's nothing about the sun that doesn't herald in, good times, passion, enjoyment of life in general. There's nothing about the sun here that has a negative sort of polarity, apart from getting sunburnt, I suppose. So we're looking at very lively period over October for you Virgos, a very favourable time. And of course, the moon and the sun, well, the full moon's really just reflecting the light of the sun, isn't it? So maybe, maybe it will be a very a kind of inspiring, joyful month for you. We get to November. I will go through and clarify, as I said. November sees some gifts coming through with the Ace of Discs. This is coming down through Kita, through the crown. It's something that we need to keep our eyes open for, our ears open to. This Ace of Discs is all about abundance in the material sense of the word. I say don't get distracted. Try not to be distracted. I know it's difficult times in most places around the world at the moment. It is difficult times. I say don't get distracted away from the potentiality of this ace that will present itself to you, because we have the Princess of Swords, a card that, we're surrounded here, and I do speak in we's. We're surrounded here by cumulus. It's quite a defensive card. The Princess is, not only the confusion of the mind, but that we sort of feel that we need to possibly defend ourselves we don't know really what from, because it's not visible to us. There's a level of confusion with the Princess of Swords anyway. But of course, certainly living in a place like where I am now, Auckland, on this gorgeous harbour, and the clouds change, they blow off, they blow away very quickly. So it's the state in which the princess is not one that lasts for very long, but nevertheless there can be moments of confusion here, and we don't want to miss this gift, this beautiful Ace of Discs. Now, coming into December, we have what is a total mercurial card, and really a Virgoian card. We've got the Magician. So we see by the time we get to that end of year, there's some magic afoot. There's really a great translation of sorts going on, and whether that's something to do with what's occurring in the previous month with this slight confusion, clouding of our view, I don't think that's going to last for very long, or it does actually serve a purpose coming into this gorgeous Magician here in December. That wobble serves a purpose as we get into December. But let's have a closer look here. We're just using this other deck to clarify, and Virgo, we will get and use the Fairy Oracle for some lightness at the ends. So, looking at the Sun here, we just had the Three of Wands coming out, speaking of lightness at the end. In fact, this is a card of knowing exactly where you're going, kind of seeing what's ahead, because there are continued works in progress here. We're propelled actually forward with this one wand behind us and two in front. So we're kind of propelled by that Ace of Wands, the one wand. We have the two, and so we actually can see that the path ahead is nothing that we have not experienced before. So there's really no potholes that can trip us up. But anyway, I wasn't really focused on the Sun. Let's have a look at the Sun here for Virgo, please. Look, this could be, I mean, you know, for a lot of people, actually, in this particular area who are in lockdown, it probably is a really nice time, excuse me, Virgo, of respite. And we do get to clarify the Sun during this month of October, where we have the Four of Swords, a card of healing, a card of rest, actually. And I think a lot of people just really probably need it at the moment, with everything that's going on around the world. You know, it's really good to take a break, to allow yourself that. This is a perfect time for it. We get a lot of information coming through in that state, in this state. And it's actually really good, I think, often to ask for that to come through and be open to it. Because in this case, I think for Virgo, it's actually a source of incoming, what would you say, incoming, I mean, I think euphoria is probably slightly, maybe a little bit over the top word for it, but I don't know, there's a sort of opening up of sorts, an opening up. I'm thinking in terms of expression here. And maybe there's quite a high level of emotional expression. We have the Queen coming out with that. There's a wonderful feminine. I mean, I'm talking, a lot of men have a really strong feminine or female elements to their personality, to their psyche. So it's not gender specific. We have the Queen of Cups. You know, the cup never runs dry. It's just perpetually refilling itself, self-generating. I love this. I love this representation of the Queen. So look, I think it's a really, for Virgos out there, whatever your situation is, this is a really lovely time for you over this month. And I think you can take from it, like, it's a really energized, I mean, I'm not an astrologer, but it's a really sort of energized full moon. So whether you're into working with the energies of the moon, whatever, you know, these seeds planted around the new moon, you know, we can work with that as it builds up to this full moon and use it in really beneficial ways. I mean, I think for our own, on a level, emotional healing here, we see. We've got time to do this. If we've not had time before, we certainly have it now, Virgo. Anyway, I can't go on. Let's have a look as we move into November here, where we have the potential of some pretty earthly bounty, opportunities in coin. Don't be confused or suspicious of it. Clarify this for lovely Virgos, please. This Ace of Discs and the Queen of Swords. Well, yeah, there might be a level of frustration. It's certainly, you know, we have a new appreciation of value, of what is important to us, Virgo, here. That there seems not to be any confusion over that, if there ever was, or there were times where there was. Look, we have the Three of Cups, again, another wonderful sort of emotive, celebratory card. This is about getting together with people and celebrating and just enjoying it. With that, we have the Eight of Swords. In a nutshell, self-limitation. You know, there's been a sort of theme this week about the idea of, you know, we can have this sort of habitual behavior pattern, you know, or mental sort of pattern where we suffer and suffer self-limitation. We also can discern whether our environment is clearly limiting us. I think in this case, you have an understanding of that, and in fact, it is your environment that's limiting you, not your mindset, not your attitude here. In a lot of respects, in saying that. So you see the value in simple things like celebrating with friends, getting together with friends. So there's really no confusion for you, Virgo. Here, certainly with the Princess of Swords, there might be a momentary period of that, but you know, it's like suggesting that the frustration that you may feel over the month of November is possibly just a frustration of being limited by your environment, by your surroundings, by that situation, not so much by your own mindset. It's very sensible. I mean, it's all very sensible, making use of this respite period of, you know, soaking up the sun. As we say that, we get the Queen of Wands, a great fiery creature, very driven, very passionate, can be led by the ego, but is really mature enough to have a grasp upon that and to understand her process. What we're interested in here is the Magician coming into December. There's a translation, there's a movement here of information, possibly something that you've gleaned earlier on or at some point in October. But there's you've found some ability here to utilize this somehow. Whatever these downloads are in your time of... Oops, far too many cards. Time of respite. Far too many cards. Magician, please. Sorry, Virgo. Whoops. Sure. Magician. Well, this is kind of interesting. Just get one more card. We get the... Oh, God. That was interesting. So it's all sort of like, wow, interesting. There may well be, is just what I get, there may well be a Virgo out there, like who sees... Oh, look, I mean, it starts to verge into collectivism here. More of a collective reading with the things that I'm getting on this. But there might be some Virgos out there who, in this process over the next few months, and it probably has a lot to do with, I think, in this reading anyway, a lot to do with your environment. Actually, the place in which you live, not your home as such, but the place in which you live. But this, you know, the Magician has the ability to pull in, to move between, for one thing, to move between two different worlds. I mean, Hermes, Thoth, Mercury is the messenger of the gods, you know. So moving between these two worlds, translating, bringing in and taking back through new information. I get it on a collective sense that, and this is just right out of the ballpark, and I, you know, wouldn't even want to go on any great dialogue on it. It's just what I get from the cards, that's all. Is that there's look, so we have, I'll show you, we have the Magician, your card, it is Virgo, it is Mercury, that is your planet. Look, we have the 10 of Swords. Actually, sorry, we've got the 9 of Swords. We have, I know I'm going off on a tangent, we also have the Tower. The Nine of Swords is about catastrophic thinking, is about being unsure. Now, there's a lot of information that's flying around at the moment. There's all sorts of information. There's all sorts of exposures. In my mind, I would imagine from this Aries full moon that somehow that acts as a propulsion for a lot of this. So that's why I say before, there's a collective element to this reading. So it might be specific to the collective or to an odd individual that happens to watch this. But what I get from this is that there's something about what we have been what we have been led to believe in certain areas. Possibly, I won't go on about this, but possibly by December we will realise that maybe there are some things about this that we've not been made party to, or it just turns out that the way that things work and not the way that we thought they'd work. I'm not saying this to specific Virgos out there because I think it's more of just a general collective thing coming in. So, and that this is in the month of December. But anyway, let's lighten this up a bit, shall we? I mean, it's pretty amazing anyway, Virgo. I think Virgos are so, I'm generalising, but very much well and able to very good at dotting your I's and crossing your T's and making sure that you've got good survival skills. That's what I'm saying. You know how to look after yourself and others, and that's a wonderful thing. Okay, so Pixies and Fairies for Virgo. For this October, we get the Journeyman, which is literally like the Fool in the tarot, so unencumbered. We feel free. We're free to enjoy with the Sun here. We're free to rest, to enjoy. We may have a few ideas coming up that inspire us to be planning ahead a little bit in terms of travel, that kind of thing. That's good. November here with this beautiful ace, the slight frustration or limitation of the environment here, but at the same time, as I said, Virgos are good at looking after things and other people. We get the card of Unity, which is a first card off the block in Brian Froud's Fairy Oracle. We're really this is about fostering a really nice enclosure, or the beginning of, we've got something new here. We've got something new that's come from our rest and respite. We can plan ahead here, but it's almost as if that little bag there of belongings is this little bag of belongings. We're figuring out what we need, what we don't need. This is a card of unity. It's really, I get the thing that it's really just about, when we speak of value here before, what is valuable to you, and you say, well, I realise that, people are of value to me. There are other things apart from coinage that is valuable to me. Actually, my freedom is valuable. and protection and keeping something or having a nest that can grow these new projects and plans for me is important to me. They're not necessarily coin, of course. This is unity in the way that I see it here. And as we go into, there might be a time, you know, you're preparing for a journey, you're preparing to, it could be, you know, in terms of stocks and shares as well, feathering one's nest. It's kind of interesting here, Virgo. It's quite confusing, actually, as we head into and what appears to be like this reading really is sort of morphed into a collective, more of a general collective kind of read, which is interesting. As we go toward the Magician, the Tower, the Nine of Swords, this sort of worry. Look, I mean, we know that collectively, globally, that things are shifting, big time structures are shifting, and there's going to be a little bit of brickwork that falls off. There's going to be a few foundations that are cracking open. I mean, we do know this. It becomes clearer, though. It becomes clearer. We have the piper, now we hear the call. The piper's about thresholds. It's about moving in transition. This is what is happening now anyway. We're in a liminal zone and we're moving in this space, so we don't exactly know what or where we end up, and in fact we don't really end up anywhere. It's a continuum, and it's like the old cliche about or the saying about it's not the destination, it's the actual journey. Well, we're in that liminal space, and the piper, we hear the song. We hear the song, we know the song to be a calling that, yes, well, we're kind of moving through this transition, and there is unfinished business with the feline. It's all about that unfinished business. It's a directive to tie up loose ends. We talk of stocks and bonds and shares, and you know, monetary things. I don't know, that's the feeling that I get in December for this. But we hear the call before any masonry starts to crumble off the buildings around us. I don't mean this to sound ominous, because it's not. It's just that we understand whether this is collective, whether it's to do with someone out there resonates with them, that's great. But I think it is more to do with the collective kind of reading for you, Virgo, here, actually. Let's face it, there is unfinished business. And the thing is, it's all just sort of starting to come out, isn't it? A lot of things. So, and I'm not talking about conspiracies or anything like that. It's just all starting to shift and alter. This is a necessary part of the sort of evolutionary process. So, for this world. So lovely, Virgos. Let's have a look. We've got a journey map card. We have, and we have, yeah. So we've got sort of this magical element going through here. We've got the beautiful crow who sits on there like it's like the world has got it clutched in his little claws. Sees quite a lot more than what we might think. I mean, I think your sight over these coming weeks is very acute, is very clear. With the crow we have in the journey map, we have the card of need, which is about balance. It's about congruency, integrity. When our mind and heart are in a balance, then we can really fully express. We understand really what we need to express. And it is all about, following your own integrity and what is sort of truth for you. What is your balance in life, And Harlequin and Star cards we have, which is most important in all things, enjoy. So yeah, this was quite an odd reading, Virgo, but hopefully someone out there, hopefully you enjoyed it. And we will be coming back into that rhythm of doing the new moon and full moon readings. Do check out the full moon in Aries reading for the 20th. And what else was I going to say? Have a wonderful week. Take good care. And we'll see you next time, Virgo. Ka kite. Bye.